Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro Nunez to bring you another successful and interesting guest in the luxury space. Today we have with us the founder and interior designer of Natural Asthetik. His name is Tom Lawrence-Levy, and they are based between Miami and London doing some incredible projects worldwide. And he's going to tell us all about the latest trends in interior design and some of the projects that he's been working on.
There he is. What's going on, Tom? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. Glad to have you here today with us.
Thank you for having me.
And you're joining us live from London, or where are you at the moment?
Yeah, now I'm in London. It's freezing, but I actually heard Miami's pretty cold now too.
I was gonna say it's not too far from how you guys are feeling in London. We're having a very interesting few days in here, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's here. I don't know. It hasn't been that bad of a winter, I feel like. I feel like it could have been worse.
Well, look, it's always nice when you are surrounded by beautiful homes and doing some of the great projects that you are involved in. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I've seen some of your recent projects that also got featured in Vogue, Living, and other magazines, which is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, when I meet an interior designer, I always have this curiosity on how did you envision to become an interior designer to start with?
Oh, honestly, my story is very weird. So I'm actually a lawyer. Like I'm licensed in Florida and I was licensed in New York, and basically I was working at an interior designer during school, during law school and during college for like 5 years. And I started as an assistant, and I worked with the guy Camilo Alvarez. He's unbelievable, still in Miami Beach. And it just really I got interested in it, and then things just sort of rolled into place. And then, so I was working as a lawyer, and then I thought design was done. I moved to London. COVID happened. I was just like, didn't know what to do. I started an Instagram account. I was working at a law firm here at the time. Then I got let go like everyone during COVID. And when I got let go, people started asking me to do their houses, like from Instagram.
That's crazy.
And then from there, it just one after the other, after the other, after the other. But then I was really lucky because I also had some friends in Miami that were doing their homes, and they're like, I just wanted to get my name out there. So I took on projects for free just to sort of start doing here and there and sort of build momentum. But yeah, I mean,
very interesting. I mean, to be honest, now the story is so cool because a lot of people always, when they see your work and they see that big following that you've built on social media and the projects that you're currently working on, it looks like you've been doing this for many, many years. And the fact that you've been doing it for just these last few years, and you've been putting so much of your passion into it, is just a testament that sometimes, hey, it's all about just taking action, regardless of your background. And sometimes, and I find that's very cool, the background that you bring into this new industry is just redefines who you are as a designer. So it's pretty cool, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you. I mean, it's definitely, I'm sure it's a lot of work, especially in the industries that we work in. It's your network is everything, and pushing to sort of put yourself in front of the right audience and putting your name out there and building relationships and having people trust you and you trusting people. And, that's really how things started to roll for me. Like I said, I took on free projects. I took on a project here or there. In the beginning, you don't say no to anything. Anything. Like if you want something, you have to be consistent and you have to go after it. And it's just every day until now, every day. It's like, you want to be put into a new market and in front of other eyes. I don't say no to any project in a new location. Just be in front of a new market.
It's interesting, right? And I have a few questions that I'm sure the audience will resonate with. But just before we jump into that, it is really good to hear that, because a lot of people that have been doing something for many, many years, they don't even share that with their community or their audience. Like at the end of the day, your network is your network. Like you want to make sure that everybody that you have in your community knows that you are a designer and that you're here for work and that you're here to give your best. And as you said, eventually someone is going to trust you because of that relationship that you already have, and it will give you that first job. And then from there, you start building momentum. So that's a great reminder for a lot of people that they don't put their, let's call it, role out there to the world. Like, say who you are. And one thing that I've noticed is that you've actually developed your unique brand and style over these last few years, which is not easy, right? So did you find inspiration on other designers? Is it something that you've kind of like blend throughout the years? How do you find that style that differentiates you?
You know, I do think initially it's a lot of inspiration. Like you see a lot of, you could see even on my feed, I share a lot of inspiration from other designers because I do think that we all learn from each other. Like there's designers that sometimes I think, wow, like how did they think of that? Like just, it's so, their designs are crazy. But at the same time, I think context is really everything. So I think like a house in Ibiza, for example, like isn't a house in New York.
Right.
I think you really have to tailor a house to its location to make sure that it will be timeless and like stand the test of time. So I think it evolves with the location of the projects. And I guess also I just like things to look clean. More, there are some people who are like maximalists and do it very, very well. I can't do that. Like,
yeah.
I can't, but I could blend, some of it. It depends on like the client's needs, but everything comes down to who's living in the house, how do they live, what's their goal, because who's the end user and how they want to, how they want to host, who they want to have. Like, it's just so many factors go into play. But I think that my style specifically, I do like neutrals, but now, we see a shift in design. Like people are wanting color again. People are wanting to be a little bit more, add more interest to their homes. So I do think it's like a process that like evolves over time. I think that like constantly evolving, and I'm also constantly trying to push myself to like do the next thing.
Right. So talk about that, because you're talking about the evolution, the next thing. So where do you see these upcoming trends for the next few years in the design space?
It's like we see a lot of metals coming back. Like there's a lot of stainless steel coming back, and people are leaving a little bit more of the brass and the brushed brass tones and going back to nickel and chrome, which is like really nice. Again, I think that anything could look good if you do it right. Like, there are traditional homes that are stunning. Like I was just in Paris this week for the design week, and we go to these homes and to these establishments that are so, like, they're so old, but so well taken care of, and it's done so well that, I wouldn't put a modern sofa in that kind of atmosphere, or like,
right.
I just think that you have to be confident in your style and plan things accordingly. And I think people really, the biggest issue I see in some homes of people who don't have a designer or don't, is just they don't think of space planning. And space planning makes the biggest difference ever. Like, it doesn't matter which home you have, big, small, like space planning could make your home feel much more elevated. And if you think about like this circulation space and the lighting also is like a whole another, lighting could change the whole house. So I don't know. I think it's just being very true to your style and keeping a home cohesive. Like someone once told me, a home needs to feel like how did they say it? They say a home needs to feel like different parts of the same space. So it's like when one room is like completely different, like, and then the other room, it's just, there has to be elements that tie them together.
Right. I love that. That's pretty cool. Space living. Now, what would you say has been the most challenging part for you as a designer transitioning into doing all these projects worldwide?
I think really it's been the hardest part was, like I said, expanding your network. I think people undervalue how much time actually needs to go into networking. And I think your talent could get you very far, but I think at the end of the day, you need to build relationships because people like to work with people they like.
That is so true.
And so I'll never say no to a networking event. I'll never say no to, you know, it's like I go to an opening of an envelope. Like it's just
So,
it's
so
like
tell me about that. So, what are some of your go-tos to improve or increase your network?
honestly, I'm on like a bunch of I get like emails and invites to events, like either from furniture brands or from, you know, you sign up to mailing lists and you go. You go like openings of hotels. If I know a hotel's opening, I'll message them on Instagram or send an email to like the manager or director and be
I
like, hey,
love that.
we want to come to the event. Um, it's really like we push. Also, it's like if I hear of an event that's interesting, like, you know, I push. Or charity events also are very good
Hmm.
to get involved with charities and go. And even if it's to provide, sometimes we've put up our services for free as an auction for people to bid on for charity, and that way
Hmm.
another group and another group and another group, and it's just that's how you expand and get people to know you.
Hmm. Well, I love that, and it's so important. A lot of people, they stay in their comfort zone, right? They just want to expect that things are going to come their way, where you need to actually go there and
I
get
wish
yourself in front of the right people.
I wish it was like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, even with in Miami at least, like I know a lot of real estate agents, and you know, if there's like showings or
You go
open
there,
house,
yeah.
like you could go also and you see prospective clients, people that you know might need help with decorating or if they're interested in the home, might not know what to do with it or how to improve it. So I
Hmm.
go, like sometimes I go or someone from our team goes, and like we just to be out there.
Yeah. I like all of that. And look, I think that once you get to the right audience and you start working with clients, it also something that I want to ask you, because the authority, right? Like you're building a brand that gives you the authority, but also the projects that you've been already involved. But at some point, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And how do you establish that authority, right? And also sometimes, as you mentioned, you're saying yes to everything. You're saying basically like whatever comes my way, I'll take it. But how do you start controlling the narrative when it comes to projects? Like how do you become the authority and the client listens to you and trust you throughout the process rather than just like doing what they say?
I think there's a lot of teaching involved in our job. I think that we constantly we you know a client might want something, and sometimes our team will draw it up for them the way they want
Hmm.
it, but then draw up the example of what we know is right and explain
Hmm.
why ours works and why their way doesn't. But people, you know, especially when it's a residential home, people have an idea of what they want sometimes, and I think a lot of it has to do a lot of it's like education and sort of like we can't always change the complete structure of a home, or we can't
Hmm.
always to do exactly what they want, so we have to show them this is actually a lot smarter, this will make your home feel better, this will be more functional, this and you're constantly educating people
Yeah.
like in like a nice way, but you're showing them like this is why like we do what we do, and you know they have their jobs that they're much better at than me. So
Well,
it's
exactly.
I think that's how we really navigate it. It's like you sometimes you really have to explain, because when people have an idea stuck in their mind about something they want, it's very hard to get them to change. Even if you know it's wrong, you have to show them why.
Well, I like that approach, right? And it's a good reminder for a lot of people out there, because sometimes when you are overconfident about wanting to say something, it might come as arrogant, and that's where you break
Hmm.
that trust. And what you said it right there, it's not so much about explaining, but educating, making sure that you are adding power. Like honestly, knowledge is power. So if you're able
Yeah,
to apply all that knowledge to the conversation, that's going to always put you in a more authority state.
and
But that's pretty cool.
yeah, no, and listen, there's always going to be people that, regardless of you teaching them, want something specifically. At the end of the day, they are the end user. It's their home.
Yeah,
So
of course.
if
You
you're like
gotta.
about the thing, it's like we have to respect them too and their which and like what they want. So
Hmm.
it's a like a balance. But I think for the most part, people when they come to us, they know what they are hiring us for, and I think a
Hmm.
lot, luckily until now, have put a lot of trust in us.
Hmm.
So it's been very like, thank God, few pushbacks.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good in that regard.
So tell me about those pushbacks. I mean, what's been your biggest lessons being in this industry for all these years?
The biggest lesson is that, like, until you don't make a mistake yourself, like, it's basically, mistakes are inevitable. So, but the thing is that once you make that mistake once, you know you won't repeat it. Like, just an example, like, we were doing an install and some of my team forgot to order like 2 of the sconces. So, like, the house was going to be done completely, and now we're missing 2 lights on the wall. And
Right.
it's just, believe me, like, after that happens, I will never
Never
make that
have
mistake
it.
again.
Yeah.
Well, so I think challenges and pushbacks, I mean, every project is different. I mean, and I think one of the biggest challenges about working internationally is that every place you go, you sort of have to build a new team from the ground up.
Right.
And so I think that's the hardest part. But once you get a good team, it could move very well. Like in our Ibiza project, we worked with Black Stag, and their team is unbelievable. Like, amazing, professional, really just top. Like, they were just such an amazing experience to work with them.
Oh, amazing.
So it ends. If once you have a good, everything comes down to building a good team, no matter where.
I love that. Well, any exciting or dream projects ahead for you?
I mean, I have an exciting project in Dubai, but it's going to be a few years. That we've been working on already for a while. And then dream project, I mean, I would really want to work, do something in Paris.
Ooh, nice.
I do like I like the idea of having the old architecture with a little bit of like a more contemporary interpretation, but I would like to leave the trims and leave everything traditional in that, like, to sort of respect the buildings. We'll see. I mean,
hey, you're putting it out there in the world.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. You know that, Tom.
Another dream project would be to do, like, something like a hotel, like a boutique hotel, a restaurant. Like, that's all would be amazing. All of
Well, we look forward to seeing that journey.
Well, I hope. I really hope so.
Well, we always have this question for all of our guests, and I'm very curious what it is to you. What does luxury mean to you?
To me, honestly, luxury is craftsmanship. And, like,
Ooh.
I think, you could have so many different types of homes, but I think the finish of the homes is really what tells you what like luxury is. That's, like, for me, I like the end finish to be perfect. Like seamless, like, things need to feel so well planned and thought out that, to me, that's luxury. So I like, even with furniture, and you could tell the quality of something well made versus something that is just mass produced. So yeah, to me, it's really,
I love that word, by the way, craftsmanship. Like, it's a very well word to associate with luxury. So I appreciate that.
You see, I don't know if you're familiar with the Four Seasons in Surfside.
Yeah, of course.
I love that place.
Yeah.
The designer, Joseph Durand, it's the most beautiful, like, understated luxury, but everything there is very well made, very well planned, and it's not loud. It's not loud, like loud luxury. It's just very, very well made and put together. To me,
I agree. That is beautiful. Actually, I was there just not too long ago, and I agree. Yeah, 100%. Well, look, my friend, I actually look forward to seeing you in Miami, because I know you come here often. You are from Miami, actually.
Yeah.
So we definitely have some exciting things that we could do in here. But one thing that I just want to wrap this up with is something inspirational for our audience. Like, if you have to go back to those lawyer years when you were, like, transitioning during COVID, if you will have to start over again, is there something that you will do differently?
I think I would have started building my personal network a lot earlier. A
Mm-hmm.
lot earlier. I think I would have probably volunteered more during college. I probably would have, you know, just really, I only understood the benefits of networking very late on. I I was really a homebody. Like I love home, but you know, once you sort of once I learned how powerful a network is, it really pushed me to keep going. And I think anyone who's starting, consistency is everything. And I think that you have to expect in the beginning, there are failures along the way for everyone. Like for me too, I mean, there were times where I was super frustrated, but consistency is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're consistent in whatever you do, you will see benefit.
I love that. And it is so true. John Maxwell is the one that said consistency compounds. So
Yeah,
definitely stay in the game for as long as you
exactly.
can and start early, right? So even if it's with your personal networking, personal branding, whatever it is that you want to do, stay consistent and start early. I appreciate that.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
No, and thank you, Tom, again for all the insights. That was very helpful. And for those that want to check what you're doing, what's the best way to connect with you?
Um, Either via our website, naturalasthetik.com, or our Instagram at Natural Asthetik.
That's beautiful. I mean, definitely very inspiring projects. I'm looking forward to seeing all these upcoming ones that you have, and we're here to support you. So keep on going well, and
Thank you.
we'll see each other very soon.
Yes, in Miami.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.